The year was 1998. And for the first time in history, scientists were able to estimate the total number of bacteria on Earth. The magic number? 5 million trillion. And to give you an idea of the immensity of that figure, that's the number 5 followed by 30 zeros. So really, that's far more bacteria on this planet than there are stars in the entire universe. But before you try and wrap your head around that number, basically we are surrounded by bacteria. Microscopic organisms that are invisible to the naked eye, that can be found in our oceans, in the soil, in the water that we drink, and the air that we breathe, even the surfaces that we walk and sit on, even sometimes on our skin. Thankfully, some bacteria are beneficial to our health, but mostly the pathogens can be extremely dangerous and even fatal. Millions of people die from being infected by bacteria and viruses every year.
While many of the pathogens are highly lethal, making us sick and even killing millions of people every year. Some of the more dangerous bacteria include E. coli, commonly found in the gut of the human body. Most strains are harmless, though some can cause serious food poisoning. Risks come from eating undercooked meat and drinking impure water. Then there's Salmonella. Infections often result from consuming contaminated food. Infants and young children are much more susceptible. How does it spread? Frequently when someone handling food doesn't wash his or her hands after using the toilet. Symptoms can include diarrhea, fever, and abdominal cramps. There's also Aspergillus, one of the more common forms of bacterial mold, which can cause pulmonary and blood infections. You find this mold both indoors and out, in air conditioning systems for instance. For those with weakened immune systems, breathing in Aspergillus spores can be harmful.
So basically, unless we're living in a bubble, there's no way we can avoid coming into contact with bacteria and viruses. What we can do is to remember some hygiene tips and practices that can help us avoid becoming ill. And to help us to do that, we're going to spend some time with Dr. Chris Chia, who's from the Health Promotion Board in Singapore. Thanks for spending some time with us. Good morning. Well, Dr. Chia, since we're in the pantry, let's start here. Sure. We're going to look at the fridge first. Behind this very shiny and nice surface lies potentially hundreds of bacteria that could cause food poisoning. Shall we have a look? Okay, so when it comes to the fridge, first of all, what does it mean to have a clean fridge?
I think the fridge should be kept clean regularly, and it's important to keep spaces so that air can flow and cool down the content of the fridge.
So my mum actually says to always let your food cool down before putting it in the fridge. So that's actually good advice.
That's right, yes. I think it makes the content a bit more stable, so that the food can keep for a longer time. Probably every week, and to make sure that the old stuff are removed and things that are spoiled are also removed. Yeah, so the recommendation is not to keep food more than 4 days. And so it's important to label your food to know when do you keep the food, and so that you can remember when it's 4 days and beyond and you have to remove them.
Okay, let's look at some things, for instance, like this. Are plastic containers good?
The cross-contamination is important, so it is important to keep some of the boxes separate, and that's why you put in Tupperwares so that there's no cross-contaminations between food items.
And if you see, there's a lot of condensation on this. As far as I'm aware, water actually encourages bacterial growth.
I think it depends on the content of the food. If it's liquid, it's okay, but if it's solid, it may then make the food go bad faster.
And then what happens if we eat it?
So I think we need to make sure that we don't keep the food beyond a certain date. So the recommendation is the 4 days. So once the food has been longer than 4 days, we have to discard the food.
So I've actually read somewhere that the place in the entire fridge that actually encourages the most bacterial growth is in the salad box. Can you explain why?
I think it's most probably because the content of the salad box is probably food items that are raw and not washed, and so it comes with all the germs and the bacteria. And so this is probably the most dirty place in the fridge.
Well, Dr. Chia, that just about does it for the fridge. Shall we head over to the sink next? So you were saying before that the surfaces are the most important, probably.
Yes.
And how should one keep that clean?
Do it every day, and especially after you use, to keep it clean and neat so that the germs do not multiply.
And what should one use to clean it?
You can use common detergent with soap and water, it's fine.
Cloth that you use to wipe. I mean, that is a perfect place for bacteria to grow.
That's right.
How often should you change that, for instance?
So I think you should change regularly and make sure that it's not soiled or it's not used for too long. Yeah, so you have to sun it and keep it clean after you use it.
So Dr. Chia, let's head to the next place. And it's a place that we all spend quite a lot of time in and can be quite dirty and disgusting. We're going to head to the toilet, yeah?
Okay. Did you remember to put the lid down?
Oh, Dr. Chia. No, I don't normally put the lid down. Why should I?
You know, studies have shown that a flush can actually make the bacteria splash 25 cm above the seat.
That's quite high, actually.
That's right.
The other thing is people always bring their phone
Yes.
into the toilet to check their email or play games. You wouldn't recommend that, though?
No, that's not advisable because it's one of the most dirty items that you bring along with you. It spreads germs unless you clean it regularly. Most people don't clean their phone regularly.
Okay, so that's something to remember as well. And then the next thing is we need to wash our hands, of course,
Yes.
and many people don't. Not just washing your hands with water, but with soap as well.
Yes, and when you wash your hands, you prevent the spreading of germs, and especially after toilet. And we recommend people to wash their hands for at least 30 seconds because studies have shown that if you wash your hands with soap and water for 30 seconds, it reduces the amount of germs 99%. So there are 8 steps to washing of hands. First, you wash your palm, and then you wash in between the fingers, and then you wash the back of the hand, both sides, and then the back of the fingers, and then the back of the nails, and then the wrist. And lastly, you clean with water and you dry it.
I wish there was a song we could sing while we're washing our hands. That's quite nice here. We have 2 options, the tissue paper or the air dryer.
Yes.
Which would you recommend?
I would recommend the disposable tissue paper, but for some of the air dryers, it can actually spread bacteria. Hi,
Oh, hi, Dr. Chia. I was just about to have my breakfast.
shouldn't you be eating at the pantry?
But I have so much work to catch up on. Why shouldn't I eat here?
Well, it's not safe because you can spread germs, and it is also not clean because most surfaces, actually the bacteria can stay on for as long as 4 hours. And we actually advise people not to eat at their workplaces. And some of the work surfaces are also not clean. The phone, the computer, the keyboard especially. The dust and the germs are trapped in between the keys.
And how often should we clean it?
You should clean it every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Okay, and what, use wet wipes?
Yes, anything white, wet wipe would be good.
Okay. So you actually recommend that people not sit at a desk for?
That's right.
And it's more healthy as well, right?
That's
to
right,
get out.
yes.
And you know, I'm actually not feeling well today. Should I go home? Do you recommend I go home instead?
Yes, actually we recommend people who are sick not to go to work, and they should be at home. You'll be resting at home because home rest actually helps in the recovery of most of the illnesses. And if you need to sneeze, if you need to go some places, you need to use a mask, you need to use a tissue when you sneeze and cough, and that's how you prevent the spread of germs and bacteria.
Okay, good advice. I think I'll head to the canteen and finish my breakfast first.
Good idea.
Well, thank you so much for suggesting this. You know, it's better than sitting by my desk in the air conditioning. I mean, out here in the fresh air and sunshine, it's brilliant.
That's right.
But before I eat, what should I think about?
Have you washed your hands?
No, I haven't.
You actually need to wash your hands. We also want to advise that people inspect their cutleries, their utensils before they eat. Make sure that they're clean. You can wipe it with tissues, especially looking for cracks because cracks can actually hide germs and bacteria, and it will cause food to be unhygienic as well.
Right. I'm quite thirsty. Would you like a sip of my drink?
You shouldn't be sharing food actually, especially when you're sick. When you share food, you actually share bacteria and germs with your friends and families. Unless you are using a common spoon. So if you want to dish out a dish to share with a few friends, then there are a few plates and you can use a common spoon to dish out the food, then it's free.
Well, I'm really hungry. I'm going to start eating now.
Enjoy your food.
All right, thank you very much.